Hello and welcome to No Lies Just Bullshit. I am your host, Nick Swartz. Thank you for tuning in. This is episode 320, I believe. Before we get into this week's episode, I want to go over a couple of things. NLJBS.com is the place to get No Lies Just Bullshit t-shirts, Alley Cat Tattoo t-shirts. Getting ready to put up two Alley Cat designs within the next week or so. Big thing. As always, I'm always trying to get the word out. I'm always trying to get your help. 540-407-8393 is the hotline number. Call the hotline. Tell me a story. Tell me a joke. Tell me, ask a question about Alley Cat Tattoo. Ask a question about No Lies Just Bullshit, the fellas, the shop crew, whatever you want to do. It's 540-407-8393. Do that right now. Pause this. Call me. 540-407-8393, and then come back and listen to this podcast. Also, In the Shadows, right here, okay? Monster book, okay? Clayton Patterson, Tribal Publishing, right here, boom, In the Shadows. Yo, go to tribalpublishing.com or go to their Instagram page, Tribal Publishing. Buy a copy. Buy a copy of the Lehigh book if they have any copies left. But this is the thing. This is about tattooing in New York City before it was legal. Underground tattooing. Clayton Patterson documented, for 40 years, I think. This is a dope pick by Clayton. Support Tribal Publishing. Support Clayton Patterson. It's a dope book. It's huge. Ton of information. And you should pick it up. What else? Let me see here. Of course, Cap City International Tattoo Convention is in May 19th, 20th, and 21st. I believe are the dates. You can find myself, Andrew Connor, Richie Studler, my brother Josh, Richie's brother Robbie, fucking homies from all over the planet there. Excited to do that. That's going to be in May. I don't think I have anything else before that. Later this year, tons going on. But right now, I think that's all I've got popping. NLJBS.com, In the Shadows book. Brother Hawk got a new record out. We support Brother Hawk. Old Heavy Hands are throwing some dates up for their tour. Support Old Heavy Hands. Okay, so this is episode 320. Chad Chesko was in Richmond. I go down to Richmond to record a couple podcasts. I think that same week, I know prior to that I did two. I don't remember who I recorded with, but the one prior to that I did Marina in a way, and I think that was the time I did Civilization, but then I did Chad Chesko, and I think I did one. I can't remember. No matter what. Anyway, this is episode 320 featuring Chad Chesko. It's myself, my fucking longtime friend Jason Hobby, my dear friend, longtime homie OG Brian Bruno, Chad Chesko, and Jake Hockman. So this is the circumstances of this podcast. I'm in Richmond, I'm kicking it. I got scheduled time to record with Chad. He's a busy guy. He's laying down ill fucking, biomech shit in all directions. He's the fucking knee man. People getting their fucking knees done on the trip for some reason. Excuse me. He's running a little late. So I pull up. Jake's out front of Absolute Art chilling. Sam, who runs Absolute Art's the homie for years and years, good dude. He comes out. Hoyer walks up. We're kicking it in the fucking street, y'all. And he's like, Chad's a little bit behind. So what happened was, Timothy couldn't stay long. He kicked it for a little bit, brought a beautiful painting down. And, I knew Hobby was going to kick it. I knew Bruno was going to kick it. Sam's hanging for a little bit of it. But at any rate, Chad's behind to the point that he needs to tattoo Jake while we're recording. So we had plans, but you can't keep a motherfucker, there till 4 in the morning, unless you're Slim Brown. And you can't, this is an opportunity. He don't live close by. And I want to talk to him. He's fucking doing ill tats, and that's what I'm into. So, just a warning to folks listening, if you didn't see my Instagram post from yesterday. There's about 30 minutes bullshitting. Then he starts tattooing Jake. And then from there on, there's a loud tattoo machine that's competing with our voices. I know I could have shelved this podcast, but I don't like doing that because it happened. This is how it happened. It happened with him doing a podcast. Him doing a tattoo. And if you're accustomed to being in a tattoo shop, it only takes about 10 minutes where you're like, okay, you just kind of get used to it. Now, Jason and Brian are a little bit further away from the mic, so there might be instances where you can hear myself and hear Chad, but you don't hear them. I don't really think it's going to be a big deal, but I'm telling you now to expect it. There's more time at the end where we don't have the machine running. There's a little bit of time in the middle, but a pretty sizable chunk of this podcast, you can hear a tattoo machine competing with our voices. Like I said, it is what it is. I could have shelved it. I chose not to because Chad's a fucking great guy and he was willing to do it, and I really enjoyed it. I had a lot of laughs. I had a lot of fun, but I also think we covered a lot of points that are pertinent to everyone's interests, and so therefore I want to put it out anyway. If you don't like it, you can turn it off. Simple as that. If it doesn't bother you, that's even better. That's fantastic. That's great. That's what I hope. At any rate, Chad's a good fucking dude, and the first thing he said when we finished looking, Nick, if this doesn't work, I'll redo it. Well, I hope that we get a chance to redo it. I like the hell out of Chad. His tattoos are incredible, but his character is incredible too. He's a fucking nice guy. And he's a thoughtful guy, and he took care in doing the tattoo he did for Jake, and I would just appreciate the whole experience from my point of view, from someone who loves tattoos, for someone who loves hanging out in Absolute Art, for someone who loves doing this podcast. I had a blast. That's why I'm putting it out and not shelving it. I hope you feel the same way. If you fucking, previously I said I don't want to hear about it if you loved it or you hated it. Wrong. Call 540-407-8393 and tell me how you felt about it. Episode 320, Chad Chesko. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tell your homies, and we're going to keep it rolling.